Deathstroke. So we were talking about, I guess we were talking about like how with Deadshot and him.
Oh, yeah.
They need to make more distinction between him and Deadshot. Because there is a distinction, like, Deadshot, flawless. I mean, I really liked it. But
yeah.
At the same time, they're both assassins. Their costumes look very, very similar. Honestly, with Deathstroke, I mean, everybody knows it's Slade. So they need to just... I mean, well, they know everyone pretty much knows who Deadshot is, too, I believe.
Yeah.
But Deadshot has that iconic look. Deathstroke, like, I imagined him more, like... without his helmet on, with his eye patch. Like, he's more iconic without his helmet. So it's not like he's trying to cover up his identity, so I don't understand why he's wearing the helmet. And I feel like it looks, I don't know, I think it looks stupid when he wears a mask.
It kind of seemed like they were trying to copy Deadshot and just didn't do very well. I don't know. It
seemed like they were like, oh yeah, having a tie to family would be totally badass to do for Deathstroke. And it's like, well, it worked for Deadshot, but it's not working for Deathstroke. Like, what is it? He's like, I care about family so much that I'm going to have my son do my business with me. And then, like, he's going to die. And then I'm going to have another kid. And then I'm going to keep on doing this to try to, like, get money to, like, protect her. And, I mean, logically it makes sense. It just doesn't make for a very interesting story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because they don't introduce his son as a character very well with the flashback. Because even with Deadshot, like, there was 1 or 2 panels where they're just hanging out, chilling, and talking. So you're like, oh, here's a new character. And you kind of gravitate towards them.
Right.
With this one, like, I don't even think his son says one word in this whole thing.
No, not really.
Like, and if he does, it was very...
It was, like, in passing,
like,
part of their fighting stuff where he was yelling or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was... I don't even know if he says anything. His name's Grant.
You do get to know that.
Yeah, and he's running around, but... Yeah, not a problem. That's the only thing he says.
Not a problem.
Not a problem. His dad's like, stop the launch, and he's like, not a problem. But yeah, there's no, I mean, you don't feel attached to him at all. So when he dies, you're like, oh, okay, his son died. Cool. Like, I mean, you don't care.
It seems like he doesn't care too much either, though. That's the thing. He's like, okay, and this other kid.
Like, Deadshot's, I mean, I loved the story because he's talking about, my family was killed by stray bullets. I have to make sure that when I assassinate people, I use 1 bullet. And it's kind of poetic in that sense that it kind of circles around like that. With this, it's just like, Slade's like, I'm pissed that my son was killed.
I'll have another kid. Cool.
I'll have another kid, and I'll keep on doing this to pay to protect her. And it's like, I mean, logically it makes sense. It just doesn't make for very good storytelling.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, though.
It was okay. No, I agree with that. It was okay. They should have distinguished more between this one and Deadshot. I don't know. Yeah, it
kind of seemed like they were imitating the Deadshot family tie thing. Like, I'm tied to my family, so I'm going to be an assassin. Deadshot's made sense. This one, it was kind of like a roundabout logic where you're like,
okay.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not a lot of drama in this.
No.
And I like the drama. That's why I read the Bat Family stuff.
Yep.
There's always drama.
Always
with
drama.
So, I mean, you could fiddle with this if you like Slade or if you want a backstory of Slade, but from the other depictions I've seen of Slade, this was totally off character for him. Usually he's that hard-assed assassin dude, and I mean, it's cute to see him like, oh, here's my little kid. But, I mean, it almost seems forced. It doesn't really seem natural. I guess the premise that he took his son out with him and his son got killed, I guess, kind of caters to the arrogance and the cockiness behind his character.
But in a roundabout way. Like, they don't show that directly.
Right. They're more like, oh, he's a family man. It's like, well, no, not really.
No.
I'm not getting that vibe. Mm-hmm. I really liked his depiction in Morrison's Batman and Robin series when Dick Grayson was Batman, because Slade appears there and he's basically controlling Damian's body. And in that, I felt like that was the perfect characterization of Slade, that he was just all like, psh, I'm the boss, I can beat Dick Grayson. Like, and he was like super arrogant and stuff and like just didn't care. And in this one, they're like, oh yeah, he's being careless because he cares. Like,
okay.
Then they almost hint that his daughter is interested in becoming the new Deathstroke, which I actually do believe in, like, some of the Beyond or Otherworld things. I think that they do that, but Really, the only thing you find out legitimately that's interesting is that he lost his eye by getting shot by a Korean dude. I felt the beginning was forced too.
Yeah, a lot of it just seemed very forced, both in dialogue. The drawing was cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean the fact that the children's hospital getting blown up and he's like, "Screw this, I'm leaving." But again, it's like I don't even know what that had to do with the rest of the story. Yeah,
the writing just seemed forced and out of place, and maybe if they had rearranged a couple of moments, then it would have been more dramatic.
Right. It jumps a lot.
It does.
And I think, yeah, and I think that loses its tension because you're like, oh, he's having a flashback here. Wait, now he's talking about his son. He talks about the war. Then he talks about his son. Then he talks about like, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
Really, the only thing you find out legitimately that's interesting is that he lost his eye by getting shot by a Korean dude.